LHS Film Club Podcast.
So hello everyone, my name is Max and welcome to Test the Teacher. Today I'm here with James.
Hello.
And today's a very special episode of Test the Teacher. We've got Test the CEO. So here we have Paul Reeve, the CEO of Into Film. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you guys. Good to see you.
So why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
So yeah, I'm CEO of Into Film. We're a film education organisation. We do a lot of work with Larbert. We provide resources that teachers and students can use in their learning in the classroom. We support your film club, which I know is really fantastically vibrant. And we work very closely with Abercrombie as one of our education ambassadors. So she advises us and gives us her views on how we should be developing our programme and how we can make sure that what we do is really helpful and relevant for schools and for you, the students.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to run through a couple of questions. So James, why don't you start us off?
So, if you could be best friends with a character from a film, who would it be?
You know, I'm trying to remember, and this is actually a film that you probably shouldn't be seeing because I think it might be an 18 certificate. Maybe it's a 15. It's a film called Black Klansman. There's a character in there. It's an amazing film, Spike Lee film. A guy who is black, but he pretends to be an extreme right-wing racist, and he infiltrates the Ku Klux Klan. And he's an amazingly cool, brave character. It's based on a true story. And I'd love to be best friends with him because the stories he'd have to tell about how he did what he did would be really something. I think you'd have a good night out.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of things about the film. It does look quite exciting.
Yeah, I think it might be a 15.
Maybe we're a bit too young.
Yeah, I was going to say I definitely shouldn't be recommending you see it. You can wait until you can look forward to it when you're 15. How old are you both?
30.
12.
Not too long to wait.
So what is it about film that interests you so much?
What I love about film is that it can take you to different places, different times in history, different cultures. And it sort of plunges you into these different worlds. I call it sometimes a magic carpet. And within 30 seconds, suddenly you're in this different world and you're caring about the characters and you're wondering what their country's like, what their lives are like. So that I think that's the thing. And the other thing I love about film is that it's a universal art form. So I've just had a look at this amazing display, looking at films from all around the world. You name any country, any culture, and it's making films and it's telling stories from that country and culture. And I think that's a really fantastic thing. The fact that we can then share those stories. We can watch a film from Namibia, we can watch a film from New Zealand, they can watch a film from Britain. I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's magical, really.
What was the first film that you remember watching?
I thought about this the other day. It was so long ago, given my age. It's sort of like in 1864 or something like that. But I think it was either The Wizard of Oz, which is a great classic, or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which is also a classic.
Yeah.
You've seen Chitty Bang Bang?
I've seen that.
There are characters in both those films that still scare the hell out of me. So the witch in The Wizard of Oz, or the child catcher in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Even when I see them now on a photograph or clip from the film, I still get a bit frightened. But I can't remember which one it was I saw first, but it was one of those two.
Yeah, it's an excellent film, Wizard of Oz. Yeah. Good how the story progresses and everything.
I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? Again, that's another fantastic thing about the film. That film was made in the 1930s, and yet I think it was the 1930s, or was it the beginning of the 1940s? I should know. But it still stands up. Young people still discover that film. Children watch it. And enjoy it every bit as much as children would have loved it when it was first released. Yeah,
and there was I think 10 years ago, there was I'm not sure if it was a sequel or a remake, it was called like Oz or something.
Yeah, was it called Return to Oz?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
There have been a few, and then there was another version called The Wiz. I think Michael Jackson was in it back in the day. So, but it's an interesting one, isn't it, when people remake films. That's happening a lot more these days. Even Disney right now is doing remakes or live action remakes.
Yeah, all the
Lion King was the latest. And some of them are great, and other times I think, why did you bother? Because actually the original is fantastic, and you can't really improve on that. So why try?
What is your all-time favourite film?
I change my mind on this all the time, which isn't a very helpful answer to you, is it? I watch a film and I thought, that is amazing. I hadn't watched that film for 10 years. I've forgotten how brilliant it was. Or I see a new film. God, that's a masterpiece. But if you're pushing me, I would say, because it was one of my favourite films when I was kind of your age, Jaws. I love Jaws. I think it's, even though now when you sort of look at some of the special effects, and the shark looks a bit like, rubber rubbish, but actually the story, the acting, the way it builds the suspense and the tension, which is effectively about 3 guys on a boat, is amazing.
Yeah, Jaws. It's basically just 3 people on the boat, but they managed to do it so well while just having like a couple different settings.
Exactly. And the music, I mean, that's another great thing about Jaws. I mean, you both know how important music can be. How it helps to tell the story, how it can build tension, how it can sort of really affect our emotions. And Jaws is a great example of that. Music, you start going, oh no, get off the jetty, don't go near the side of the boat, and it's the music that's doing that.
Yeah, that iconic,
That's very good. Yeah, you're right, it's 2 notes.
Yeah.
And yet somehow, and then the way it kind of speeds
up and gets
the
louder.
volume gets louder.
Yeah.
It's a really great example of something really simple that has extraordinary effects.
When you were little, did you ever dream of like getting into film as your job?
No, and I think that's the case for so many young people, and that is part of why we do what we do into film. It's by no means the main reason, but I think for me, growing up, and maybe it was the same for you, you love films, you go and see films, but you don't think it's a possible career. It's this sort of magical, mystical thing that other people do. And one of the things we're trying to do is great here at Larbert, that you're so strong, and there are so many opportunities for you to explore and learn about film and media. It's actually getting people to realise that it takes thousands of people to get a film onto the screen. I can't remember, it might have been Orson Welles who said, I think it's something like a writer needs a pen, an artist needs a paintbrush, and a filmmaker needs an army, because you've got all these different roles, and a lot of them people don't even know what they are. You read the credits at the end of a film, it talks about gaffers and grips and all these kind of weird things, location managers, and these are all real jobs. And, we're really keen into film at young people. I'm just made aware that there is this whole industry, and there might be a career there for them if they've got the sort of the commitment and the raw talent. So I never thought I'd get involved when I was growing up. So I feel really privileged now to be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, some of the roles that people actually have in films are like not what you would expect them. For example, I think it's the second assistant director. It's like not what you would expect it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally different. Like
exactly.
You thought it'd be on set, but they're like organising all the times and everything.
Yeah, and you have these things like like there's a whole thing about just money and finance. Like line producers who are effectively the guys that are kind of controlling the budgets and making sure that people are spending money in the right place and not overspending what they were allocated. That's you don't think about that. You take, of course, you spoke to young people that aren't as knowledgeable as you both. They'd obviously know about actors, they probably know about director, probably know there's a camera person, some of the basics. But then, say there are so many roles beyond that, especially in those craft areas as well. People that are carpenters, plasterers, electricians, costume, makeup, you name it, wigs. And they all require a really high level of skill to, and that's why the UK film industry is doing so well, because we have this fantastic workforce that, have got the right skills to enable great films to be made in this country.
Yeah, there's really a lot of things that you wouldn't even expect to have anything to do with film as roles. Yeah. So we're going to move on to a little quick-fire trivia round.
Oh, heavens. Right, okay, I'm ready for this.
So your first question is, who directed Thor Ragnarok?
You see, you're immediately into one of my weaknesses, which is sort of the fantasy movies. No, don't know. Tell me, who was it?
It was Taika Waititi.
I'm going to spell it, just to make it 1-1. But don't look at the answer.
You want me to spell it?
Yeah, I bet you know as well.
All right. First name is Taika and I could not tell you the last name.
Okay, I'll give you half a point for that.
Second question is, who's the protagonist of the Fallen trilogy? We're really testing you here because we're looking for both the actor and the character name.
Nope, don't know that either.
Don't know, right?
I'm going well, aren't I?
Yeah,
Yeah.
might help the London Has Fallen, Angels Fallen, those films.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
Do you hear that slight contempt in your voice? There? It's like, you really?
so the actor is Gerard Butler, and
yes.
the character is Mike Banning. Yeah. And
You're obviously a bit of an expert
Yeah.
there.
I've watched them all.
question number 3 is, how many Star Wars films are there? This is tricky because we do need to clarify that we're looking for the total of live-action films, including the Star Wars stories and the newly trailed film. Clone Wars doesn't count because it's animated.
Okay, so hold on. 1, 2, 3. And solo film counts?
Yeah.
Is it 8?
No.
What is it?
You're quite far off.
How
It's
far?
it's 11.
So So you've got the 3. Actually, so it's the 3 originals:
Yeah.
Star Wars, Empire
Yeah.
Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Then you've got how many were the new?
Prequels.
How many of those were there?
3.
Oh, I thought there were 2. Actually, am I allowed to say I think they're rubbish?
Yeah, they are. They really are.
So that's probably why I only thought there were 2. I like the other one was Expunge, and then you've got Force Awakens, and Solo. Just remind me. Also, what are the others?
There's Rogue One.
Rogue One, of course.
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got the new Luke Skywalker one coming out.
Oh,
Was that one?
because does that count then? Because it's not even out.
Yeah, we said the newly trailed film.
I'd have still been wrong, but at least I've only been 2 out rather than 3.
And then The Last Jedi.
The last
Oh,
year,
yeah, that one.
So do you like Star Wars films?
Oh, I love Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Same.
I do, and I really because I was disappointed by those
The
those
new-
prequels, but then I thought, when the new ones that have come out were really strong.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
And actually, I took one of my daughters who hadn't seen any of the
Star Wars.
originals, so she kind of came as a really fresh audience, and she loved Force Awakens as well. And then she, of course, as a result of that, then started to watch the
old ones.
back
Yeah.
catalogue.
So, fourth question is,
I'm doing well, so I'm still 0 out of 3. Is that right?
yes.
Yeah. Excellent.
So, which actor played the main protagonist in the 1995 Jumanji?
Is it? So who's in Jumanji? Jack Black.
These are
Robin
the new ones.
Yeah, Jack Black's in the new one.
Robin Williams.
Yeah, that's
I think
it.
Is the right answer.
Yeah, Robin Williams. That's it. That's the one. Final question is, who voiced the Joker in many of the animated films and also starred in Star Wars?
So Joker in the animated
In the animated film, yes,
and starred in
Star Wars.
which Star Wars?
I don't know, honestly.
Because that narrows it down to a cast of about 150, doesn't it?
Really,
across the film. So I've no idea who. So I'm going to have to take a guess. An actor who's really good at voices who might sound like the Joker. Can you give me a clue? Is that cheating? Can't give me a hint.
No, give me a clue. So, first name starts with M, second name starts with H.
That is a good clue as well. Oh, okay, Mark Hamill.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one. Well
Yeah.
done. Yeah. So you
Oh,
got.
did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we got.
Oh.
So you got 2 out of
2 out
five.
of 5. So is that? Do I have to stay behind, like after school, like, do extra revision?
Nah, you're fine. So thank you for coming on.
Great pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It was a good time. All right.
I really enjoyed
Anyways,
speaking
yeah.
to you. Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Yeah, thank you for listening. And
Tune in next week.
tune in next week.
LHS Film Club Podcast.